Canada and Mexico are not part of this, which is relevant that Mexico is also not on that chart because of the North American Trade Pact that we have. And it does seem from the people I'm talking to, the belief, there's no confirmation, is that Canada falls into that 10% baseline tariff. Now, is that universal? Are there carve-outs for CUSMA-compliant sectors? Does this stack on top of steel and aluminum? Does this stack on top of auto tariffs? Does this stack on top of the earlier tariffs that they outlined, to deal with fentanyl, allegedly, and border migrations? It is remarkable, Adrian, that the world is learning what's happening to their economies from a prop chart being held up and read from in the Rose Garden by the President of the United States, like he's trying to sell you a timeshare in Florida. The ripple effects of this are astronomical. It is a list of grievances spelled out in percentages, and Donald Trump is essentially making it clear to countries that he wants you to be a market or a supplier of goods. He sure doesn't want you to be a competitor, doesn't even really want you to be a partner in some cases, and that this is, his vision of what needs to happen, not to rebalance trade, but so the U.S. kind of dominates trade. And this is an interesting reality to look at, from their biggest trading partner, their biggest market, and the most exposed economy to the whims of Donald Trump on the face of the earth. So while we were not on that chart as a country, they're very much in the blast radius of what he's doing there. And even at the low end of 10%, Mark Carney said the other day, their impression was they're getting the best of a bad deal. It's still a pretty bad deal.
No kidding. And listen, as you see him talking, the president talking on the side of the screen there, it's pretty wide speech. Right now, he's been talking about Medicaid, so we've sort of veered off tariffs for the moment. But Rosie, just before the U.S. president spoke, I gather the prime minister put out a statement about supply management. What did he say?
This was before the president mentioned it, but he did again reiterate his position that Canada's supply management is not on the negotiating table. And listen, that is the position of every Canadian politician, with the exception of, I think, Maxime Bernier, who's the head of the People's Party of Canada. And putting supply management on the table would mean the end of support in Quebec, to say the least, and probably Ontario as well, for any politician that did that. So there are political reasons for doing that as well. But it is also obviously a system that Canadian politicians believe works well for Canadian consumers and Canadian farmers, for that matter. I will just go back to the comment that the president made about NAFTA.